Try and try again. Reach out to a friend. Never second guess yourself. Yeah, you know there's some ups and could be some downs. Whichever way it goes, let's flip this shit around. Stick to the plan and stay on that road. Stand up tall and slow your roll like a grand.
Hey, thanks for tuning into It Is What It Is, Noise Included, Episode 4. Okay, the question is, do we grow old gracefully or do we go for a modern approach and get fillers and Botox? So let's think about this, people. There are women that are not using Botox and fillers and they just look old. And it's not because they don't have enough money to get it done. I have been seeing some IG posts of Cameron Diaz and Sarah Jessica Parker that in my head, I just don't understand why they wouldn't at least do their forehead and their crow's feet. I mean, listen, just a little. I mean, maybe they don't see their wrinkles. I personally would love to feed them some truth serum. All right. So, I mean, I do know people that are just cheap. Okay. So then there are some that just don't care because they have no vanity. And then there are people that are doing it all because they're feeling society's pressure. And then there are people like me that are trying to fight the battle of getting old, trying to stay young looking. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, if someone invented these cosmetic advances, then why not take advantage of them? We talk about the fact that the new 50 is really the new 40 and that the women that are 60 years old look amazing. Well, here's an example. The other day, I saw a picture of Sofia Vergara. Okay, I'm a little biased because I am Colombian. She's my age, literally 52 years old. Okay, she's my age and she looks absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to add that, yeah, she has a chef, a masseuse, a workout buddy, a stylist, an assistant, a personal trainer. I mean, I get it. I guess I would look amazing too if I had all those supports in my life. However, you can also live like that too. If you really think about it, you can keep a good diet, you can go to the gym, take a few yoga classes, hone in on your inner peace. And I think that Botox and fillers are really not that expensive. I mean, let me break it down for you because I'm going to be as clear as day here with you. So every 4 months, you'll need about $500 in Botox to cover your forehead lines, your crow's feet, and frown lines, okay? My inner voice always yells, banish from here, wrinkles, make me look smoother and younger. Okay, and then maybe a filler for your cheeks if you're over 40, and you may be looking a little hollow under the eyes, okay? And that's just a maybe. That don't happen to all people. It happens to some people. Also, there may be a possibility of once a year getting your lips done. That is equivalent to one filler. That's approximately $500. All right, so believe it or not, a little lip plumping goes a long way. It automatically makes me personally feel really sexy. So listen, that's just me. It doesn't take much for me to feel sexy though. So think about all the money you spend on Amazon and eating out and shopping. Why not give yourself a little zap here and here and there. You can zap your 11s. These are the lines in between your eyes, aka your frown lines. Or sometimes they are 111s. Or as I say, sometimes they're 1,111. Okay, listen, I'm going to call it as it is. And I'm guilty of calling out my good friends on this. I do feel guilty sometimes, but you know what? A good friend tells the truth. I literally did tell my friend that she had a 1,111. But she really did, though. Listen, I'm the kind of friend that if you're wearing something that doesn't do anything for you, I will tell you. Can't have you walking around looking all traumatized, more so with me by your side. LOL. For example, if we're out eating and you have a piece of food hanging from the bottom of your lip, I will wipe it for you. I could just say, hey, you have food hanging from your mouth, and then your friend is wiping away, and now the food has spread onto your cheek, looking all crazy. Okay, this is actually another true story. This makes me think about this. Ready? My sister she walks really weird, okay? She walks looking down with this weird hunchback looking strut. I also think it's a little bit of the insecurity that she carries. Actually, a lot of the insecurity that she carries when she walks on an angle. It's super weird. She walks on an angle, facing down. Just try to picture that, okay? One day, I watched her walk from the car to the inside of the gas station and recorded her because unless I show the people I love the evidence, they think I'm just talking crap. Well, guess what? As she returned, I showed her the video and then said to her, straighten up, like face forward and tall and walk like you own the place because don't be walking around looking all traumatized. Well, this phrase stuck because now everyone in my circle uses it. Don't be walking around looking all traumatized. Again, I use this a lot when I was around my daughters and friends. Okay, it always goes back to them, right? Again, not to traumatize them, but to show them how to walk straight, head up, shoulders back, and feel secure in their steps in life and what their next move was going to be. Another tool like the weight radar, yes, I'm guilty of it, in episode 1, okay, where I spoke about generational trauma. All right. So, I'm sounding mean, but I'm telling you, it isn't like that. I'm really not like that. I just think that I'm very truthful and honest. And I'm not saying I'm perfect because believe me, I am not perfect. Okay. It was just that at that time when my kids were growing up, it was hard communicating with that generation because they were all so sensitive. Or you know what? Maybe I'm just from a thick-skinned generation. And I think that's what it really is. All right. So, listen, at the end of the day, like I said, I always mean well. I'm always trying to empower the women I come in contact with, maybe because I walk strong and tall. Side note, it's almost like a Smurf walk on Animal Kingdom. Yes, I've been watching Animal Kingdom. I am guilty. I kind of like her little, strut and the way that she walks. Not that I want to be Smurf, but I just think she's so strong. Anyways, let's keep this going. And that's maybe why when anyone wants to do something, they say, tell Liv, she'll do it. And yes, I do. Ask and you will receive, as I always say. What's the worst that can happen? That someone says no? Big deal. All right, so moving along, some women are in denial. Okay, they are in denial. And I have friends that are really saying to me that are in their 40s and 50s, hey, Liv, maybe I should get some Botox. I have to breathe heavily internally, swallow whole, and say, really? Guess what, girl? It's too late. It's way too late. You waited too long. Now you have to invest big to catch up to those wrinkles. And sometimes they're so creased that nothing will work. I mean, those wrinkles may get a little smoother, but please don't ask for miracles. So now here's another question. When is a good time to get Botox? According to studies, preventative Botox can be considered in your late 20s. Okay, you heard it from me. Late 20s or early 30s to soften fine lines before they become deep wrinkles. Shocker. I'm shocked, okay? Botox temporarily blocks nerve signals that cause muscles to contract, leading to muscle relaxation and a reduction in wrinkles. So if that scares you, be aware I personally want to block all the possible nerves that I have left after surviving motherhood. Here's a thought. I always thought my husband was my first true love. But then I had my daughters and realized he was just the opening act for the main event. They are the loves of my life, even though every wrinkle on my face is a souvenir from a sleepless night or a moment of pure, unadulterated panic. My kids are my world, but I'm pretty sure motherhood is just a long-term contract for a worry-based lifestyle. I would have more wrinkles than a Shar-Pei puppy if it weren't for Botox. And they all came from a mix of sleepless nights, panic attacks, and the joy of watching my heart walk around the outside of my body, totally clueless about the dangers of the world. It's the ultimate love story where you fall head over heels for a tiny human and then spend the rest of your life getting emotionally crushed by them. Listen, I'm not anti-kids, okay? I'm not. But I'm convinced that mothers are the world's greatest marketing team. We've been sold this idea that having kids is the most natural thing to do. But nobody mentioned that the product comes with a lifetime of emotional anguish. They don't have a clue how proud I am of them, or that their lack of empathy and their complete inability to see they're being disrespectful makes me want to both hug them and wring their necks. Obviously, by now you understand I am guilty of choosing the path of Botox and fillers because I had no choice. I was looking old at 30. I was that helicopter mom trying to keep everything in check, and then also my FOMO. So I secretly began to use Botox behind my family's back. One day, I was at my gym, Gold's Gym, an upscale gym that had all the perks. So I was walking out of the dry sauna. As I was walking, I was approached by a doctor that rented a med spa space like in the back of the gym. And to make a short story shorter, I was sold on doing a little tox on my forehead. I saw the difference almost instantly. My face was smooth and wrinkle-free. I was sold. I mean, this was 20 years ago where Botox was frowned upon because it was still like an alien-like. So different from today that everything's always trending when it comes to Botox. All right, so I started doing a little Botox in my 30s, and I have prevented and I have cheated the aging process. All right? Today that I am 52, I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I look as young or younger than my friends who look 40. I swear I'm not bragging, I'm not lying, but I am. But I don't look 52. I'll tell you that. All right, so the other day I actually believed in my sick, twisted mind, because this is like a sick, twisted moment, that I was 42 because I was telling some friends that, yeah, we have to do a big celebration this year because, my husband is turning 40. My husband's turning 40 and we have to do this big bash. And, everybody's looking at me and they keep looking at me and they're like, and I kind of read the room and I was like, what's going on here? And then I realized that once somebody said, hey, did she have too much to drink? And then I realized just by looking at their faces of disbelief that what I was trying to say was that he was turning 50 because I am 2 years older than him. I was really thinking I was 42. I mean, okay, it's a little twisted, but I really thought it because I don't have any friends my age and being 52 is pretty up there. It's really, a big deal for me. And so, yeah, we're celebrating his 50 this year. I'm a little scared that I actually believe that, but I did, okay? I'm not going to lie, but I will tell you that if you keep your mind and soul healthy, I guess you can spiritually connect to a younger version of you. Can you find that in you? I mean, look at that. I even convinced my brain that I was 42. I convinced it. Listen, in life, you have to take the path that works for you. And so I choose to live as long as I can while being healthy and looking fabulous. Period. I said it. I mean, I won't go as far as getting a facelift because I'll be honest with you, my mom had one done and her eyes look like a deer stuck in headlights. I know, it just always, you can tell when people get those facelifts and my mom has that face. She looks a little nuts, okay? I think it's important to be able to look in the mirror and love the person you see. You can't be walking around life looking all traumatized. Take care of your gray roots, or don't, and let your hair turn all gray. I love that look. Whoever does it, I give them kudos because you have to be so patient to make that happen, right? For me, no way. I don't have the patience for that. So take care of your skin and stay healthy and fit. Listen, I'm not saying be skinny because skinny is not healthy, but I'm saying, dress nice. Like dress if you don't have, it dresses if you don't have a man and you might meet him in the grocery store. Don't dress frumpy, like always dress to impress. Love yourself and take on the world. Go to work and do great things. Look ready and look and feel good. So I've been recently reading books on how to help my mom as she gets older and now is suffering from a variety of mental illness like dementia and manic episodes. And as the eldest daughter, everything lands on my shoulders, even though I have a brother and a sister, side note, who literally do nada, nothing, nada, nadísima, okay? Their excuse for me doing literally everything is that I live in almost the same town as her. Man, it is really hard to deal with her 10 times a day, daily phone calls, just to speak gibberish to me. She's literally always on my mind, and I feel guilty all the time. Why? Do any of you feel guilty all the time? I mean, what is that, right? I know her modus operandi, though, is to end up living with me, but that is not happening. And I know some of you are saying, oh, how could you not? That's your mother. Nah, 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 nah. She will either fall down the stairs, break her neck, or put my house on fire. However, every time I bring her back to my house, it's like taking care of a baby. I know some of you think that's the roles, the roles should be reversed and I should take care of her. But no, guys, I'm not doing it. And I work and I want to continue to live my life. I do have friends that have their mothers living with them and they are miserable. When I say miserable, I mean they're miserable. You can see them miserable. Even their marriages have suffered. Seriously, people, I love my kids and would never want to be a burden on them. I already told them to put me in a home if I get like my mom. I mean, that's why I feel like my mom hates me, because she literally is such a pain in my ass. There have been times when she literally knows that I have plans and has called me and said, so your friends and your outings are more important than me, and then hangs up the phone. She's such a manipulator. Like, she's totally manipulating me. So getting back to the topic, I have been recently reading books on how to help my mom, and Marilyn Lakin, I've Never Been Old Before, Practical Guide to Aging, puts a nicely done ribbon on a box of information as she simultaneously states, wrinkles are a badge of a well-lived life, not something to be hidden or removed. LOL. I obviously don't agree, okay? However, I did get lots of tips on what I need to do with my elderly mom. Marilyn Lakin provides a rich context to topics such as why we age, the role that culture plays in how older adults are treated, and even what kind of ancestor we want to be. She covers everything from early retirement to end of life. As Marilyn explains, aging is biological and cultural. It is a time of discovery and a time of loss. Most of us are unprepared, from the biology of aging, dealing with ageism, decisions about where and how to live, to what to do with our stuff. This book covers it all. So just to be clear, my mom lives in an apartment that looks like a hoarder, right? She's a hoarder. She suffers from diabetes and eats sweets on a daily basis. She falls on a weekly basis. Weirdly, she doesn't break any bones, but she has these huge black and blues. And here is the kicker. She doesn't want to go to senior living. Yes, this is the cross that I carry. Okay, enough. Let's get back on topic. So between my daughters and my mom, they have driven me into the wonderful world of BOTOX. So God knows exactly how much to suffocate me with, because he knows how much I can take and always gives me the light. So in this case, he has blessed me with a daughter that's a PAC, and I get anything I need for free. Yes, people, I get free BOTOX. I get free fillers. I get free Sculptra. I get free PRP. Everything. See, everything went full circle for me, and now I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I guess I did something right with these brats that I raised. I say this very, very sarcastically. This is Liv. Thanks for tuning in to It Is What It Is, Noise Included. Smooches and sending lots and lots of blessings. Bye.
There are days when we have our doubts, but drive on through. Don't give up the fight. It's a beautiful